One of Stahlin's key strengths is the ability to build specialized custom enclosures, going far beyond the process of modification. Custom-sized and shaped enclosures are made available through a process called hand layup. While the process is labor-intensive, it is frequently the best way to fulfill a need that would be unattainable through conventional molding. Multiple technical refinements have been made over the years, but the process still involves a considerable amount of hands-on labor. An automated chopped glass and resin applicator helps to increase speed and uniformity of the process, but creation of the custom mold is still a very manual process. Step 1. Mold making. The process begins with the manual construction of a mold to meet the customer's dimensional requirements. There are multiple quality control checks along the way to ensure tight tolerance to the customer's specifications. The radius corners of the final assembly are created by applying a bead of clay around the perimeter. This will also assist in the release of the enclosure from the mold. Step 2. First gel coat chopped glass. Resin and fiber sheets. 90 minutes of curing. When the mold has been assembled and cleaned, a skin coat or gel coat is spray painted over the complete surface. Then chopped glass and resin are sprayed in a mixture to create the initial thickness. Large and small rollers compress the matting down into the gel coat. The purpose is to remove the air and moisture between the laminate and the gel coat. The part is then stored for curing for approximately 30 minutes. The actual structural strengthening begins with fire-resistant polyester resin, followed by successive layers of pre-measured glass fiber. Then it is uniformly compressed with rollers. Staggered and overlapping sheets increase the body strength. When completed, the assembly will require at least 90 minutes of curing before the enclosure can be pulled from the mold. Final curing requires a full overnight. Like concrete, the final few percent will cure over the next 4 or 5 years. Step 3. The demolding process involves a variety of steps because the part has a reverse draft. This means it cannot simply be lifted out of the mold. The mold must be disassembled around the part. This is an artful process all its own, with great care given to maintain the integrity of the enclosure. Screws securing the mold are removed. Molding clay is removed, and finally the sides of the mold are removed with a pressurized air assist. Step 4. Cutting the flange, install studs and back panel bolts. Final gel coat and cure. Sanding. A uniform flange is critical to the proper seal of the enclosure. Here, the flange is manually trimmed for uniformity. Several secondary operations take place at this stage of construction. Eyelet holes, reinforcement channel, and bolts for transport and lifting of the enclosure to its final destination are installed here. More than one operation takes place simultaneously. Here, the reinforcement channels are measured, installed and laminated into place as preparations are made for installing the mounting studs. Another concurrent operation involves preparation for installing panel studs, reinforcement panels, and lift bolts. Studs are initially positioned with crazy glue, followed by fiberglass laminate for rigid final installation. This step includes both custom coloring and the addition of bulk material to the body of the enclosure. A fire-resistant polyester gel coat is applied. This is the gel coat application. The formulation contains elements that rise to the surface and solidify into a rugged coat. The exterior gel never completely cures until the resin and glass is applied. Each enclosure is detailed and sanded for smooth surfaces. It will be gel-coated later and then repainted for fine finishing. Noted earlier, quality control checks continue throughout the process. Confirming proper alignment of the mounting pins is one such critical check. Step 5. Assembly. Before the door can be added to the base of the enclosure, final modification and assembly must take place. Cutting a lock hole, applying the gasket, bonding and sealing seams, as well as mounting the hinge all occur in this assembly phase. The final critical assembly takes place as the enclosure door is joined with the base. Close measurement and proper seating of the gasket are necessary to maintain the seal and integrity of the assembly. Numerous quality control measurements and adjustments are made as the enclosure comes together. For more information about Stahlin enclosures or the hand layup process, visit us at stahlin.com.